Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my video today. And the concept that we're gonna be talking about today is a broken apart version of mindset. So when we look at the mind, right, there's really a couple levels to achieving that highest athletic version of ourselves. There's an emotional feeling component where you feel confident, you feel prepared, you feel like you can take on the world. And then there's also a mindset component, which is just as important, right? So when you go into any athletic, any competitive environment, having your mind calibrated to the highest possible outcome and being able to maintain that mindset no matter what's happening is critical to success in all areas of athleticism. So the mind is broken into 6 higher faculties. So you look at a mind, right? You have a conscious part, which is what we have every single day, which is basically the waking part that we're in, where we get to pick what we want to do. I want to go get a cup of coffee. I want to watch the news. I don't want to watch the news. I want to go train. I don't want to go train, right? Conscious is basically anything that is awake in our mind that we can actively control, move, or manipulate. Then there's a subconscious part, which is about 95% of the mind, meaning that that's like what runs our breathing, what runs our blood system, all of these systems that we don't really want to be troubled with, right? Like say you're driving a car and you don't want to be like moving a stick to make the engine go. You just want to press the pedal and then have systems in place that will burn the gas and make the wheels move. That's all subconscious work, right? So it's better to have a smaller portion of your mind conscious and have the larger part subconscious so that you don't have to be involved in all of these things. You can just have fun driving. So we talk about the conscious mind. There's 6 higher faculties that make that conscious mind powerful. And what we can do is once we understand these 6 higher faculties is that we can basically hone and toggle between them if we have a goal in mind. So say that we're going to be the best freaking tennis player in the world, right? So we're in a tennis match. Our goal is to win that tennis match. Before, during, and after, we can take that goal of winning the tennis game, we can understand what that outcome feels like, and we can use our 6 higher faculties of mind to create that reality. So the 6 higher faculties are intuition, imagination, perception, reason, will, and memory. So that once again, that's intuition, that's imagination, perception, reason, will, and memory. So think about it like this, right? If we're going into a tennis match and we want to win the tennis match, what we would want to do first is leverage imagination. So that's a picture-making mechanism in your mind. You'd want to see in your mind, not in reality, but in your mind, what it looks like to win that tennis match, right? What does it look like? Figuring out what it actually would look like is very important, because if you can't formulate an image, then you can't build on top of that, right? So the first thing you would want to do is look into your mind and see yourself getting the trophy, see yourself being congratulated by those around you, shaking the opponent's hand, being like, good game, right? And understanding what that looks like from a visualization standpoint. Once that visualization aspect is done, we would want to use our reasoning, which is basically our ability to choose. So we can choose the thoughts that we think, we can choose the feelings that we feel. So we would choose now, while we have that picture, to basically feel like we won before it's ever happened. We want to teach our body and teach our neurochemistry and teach our nervous system what it feels like to win that outcome, right? We want to understand what the emotional aspect of that is. So we would use our reason instead of, visualizing and feeling like a loser. We want to visualize and make ourselves feel like it's already happened and already won. On top of that, we have perception as well. Perception is very, very powerful because we can see things in the ways that we want to see them, right? We can see things and we can change our perception to make it favorable. Say we bruised our thumb or something, right? And we're going to win this tennis tournament, if you will. Now, if we bruise our thumb, we can have a perspective on that. One perspective would be that, hey, this is horrible. I'm not going to be able to play as good now that my thumb is bruised. This is not going to work out as well. It's just, it's not in the cards for me to win, right? That's a loser mindset. But if we look at that bruise, it is what it is, right? It's not really good or bad. It's just a bruise. So we can use our reason to choose our perception of that. We can say, wow, I bruised my thumb. That means I've been training hard. I've really put in a lot of practice. And because I put in a lot of practice, that gives me a lot better shot to win, right? We can archetype a story that's favorable, use our reasoning to decide what's gonna get us there, and then we can choose an optimal frame of perception combined with that imagination. Now, will and memory are very important as well too. So when we have will, what will is essentially is prolonged focus, meaning that there's a million different things we can pay attention to. Focus is selective ignorance, meaning that we're going to choose to ignore certain things so that we can put energy into things that will move the ball forward. So if we're going to focus and use our will, we would want to hold that picture, right? We want to hold all the favorable things that basically build us up and make us feel more powerful and capable of winning. And we would want to exclude everything else. Even though that they may be a reality, if our goal is to win, we want to put 100% of our willpower, 100% of our focus exclusively into things that move the ball forward. When we talk about memory is essentially past events that have been stored in our mind. We can use our reason to choose memories that make us feel like we are going to win if that is our goal, right? There's a million different memories we have. We have memories, say we've been a tennis player for 10 years. There's memories of us losing, memories of us winning, memories of all of these different things. So it comes back to will. When we combine will and memory, reason which memories are favorable to us winning. We would want to exclusively use our will to focus on times where we have won in the past, so that we're constantly going over memories and edifying our state as a winner, as someone who is a champion in this aspect of tennis or whatever we're doing, right? We don't want to focus on the time where we fell over and beat ourselves up because we didn't do as good as we thought we wanted to do. That's a reality. We have reason. We can choose what we want to focus on, what we don't. We want to use our reason to exclusively focus on things that will build us up, right? So every single aspect of the higher mind, we're leveraging so that we can have as much momentum moving in our favor to inch by inch increase the statistical likelihood of us winning. Now, the last thing is intuition, which is essentially feeling, right? Intuition means that we want to use our emotions to feel that win before it's ever happened. And I kind of started with this, but it comes full circle because the other ones I feel are primary. And then once we have that image, we juice it up with emotions. And what intuition will do is intuition will basically guide us emotionally through the path, right? So if we feel like we're playing tennis and we feel off, right? We would want to, before we get in the tennis match, feel in the body what it feels like to go through a whole tennis match and be on, and practice that. So once we prime our state, it's called state priming, our intuition will pull us in proper directions of our expectation of how we want to go, right? And the idea is to preemptively practice this state and practice leveraging all the factors of higher mind with the focus on the end favorable product, so that when we get in the craziness of the competition, we've been so conditioned favorably to have all of these elements working in favor with us that we can just go out there and fucking dominate. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I absolutely love the higher faculties of mind, because if you feel like, maybe you're getting stuck on something, you can toggle between all of these higher faculties of mind, always giving you something that you can use to favorably move yourself forward, inch yourself forward towards whatever goals you may have. So if you're still at the end of the video, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and you have a great day.